Guys, it's Ben from Nerf Mods for Dummies again, and today we're going to look at the Longstrike. Now, I can't get it all lined in one picture, but let's see what Longstrike looks like. It's a fantastic looking blaster. It's great for cosplay and everything else, but it is very underpowered. So for this video, I'm taking the barrel off to get it all on camera. Does that line up there? Okay, that will line up the internals there. Okay, normally with these videos I don't do anything to start, but I have in this case the priming bolt using a non-sharp knife, just a butter knife. I've got into it and I've pried around. It takes about 5 minutes. So whether you want to pause the video now and go and do that, either that or a long screwdriver. Be careful you don't push down here next to where the priming bolt runs, because you will chip and break your shell. Try to get it flat underneath somewhere like that and lever it until it eventually comes off, like that. And when we're done at the end of it, what I suggest to do is just put a bit of super glue on the end, put it back in, and that will still come apart until you super glue it. And when super glued in place, it'll be back on there again, and it won't be as hard to remove the next time. Okay, this is a reverse plunger, which is the same as your Recon Alpha Trooper and Recon Alpha Trooper and Raider as well, which is using the 5 kilo reverse plunger spring. That's the stock spring that's in it compared to the 5 kilo. As you can see, it's not a huge difference. It's not as noticeable as what it is with the Elite springs. But like I've said in other videos, the direct plunger is a lot more compact compared to the reverse plunger. So there's a lot more spring but a lot less power. So let's get this apart and do it. This is actually not this one, but the Longstrike was my first ever Nerf branded blaster. I got it as a Christmas present. I think it was partially as a joke on Christmas. And I shot it, and as Longstrikes go, it shot about 10 meters. And a dart just basically dropped out. And I was like, oh, okay, it looks good, but it doesn't do a lot. This one's actually got older screws on it, so I have to put a bit of force in to get them out. There we go. These have been and always will be popular because of the look of them. They look so good. They don't do much, but a lot of people put what's called an XBZ tank in it, which is Extreme Blast Zuka tank, which is an compressed air tank, and it will give you a lot of power. But it's 8 pumps, pull the trigger, reload, 8 pumps, pull the trigger. But if you do those type of game types, it is fun, and it will get you 200 to 300 feet per second, which does sting if you get hit with it. That's a more complicated mod guide that you can Google and look up with other channels. I'm not sure who actually does it, but I have seen it done, and I do have a XBZ downstairs in my collection. It's in an Alpha Trooper though, not a Longstrike. Now when you're undoing these screws, don't undo any screws here in the blue bit. That stock will come off as one piece, so don't touch any of these. And I'll show you a quick mod as well, is if you want to do it, just for storage or transport around or whatever. It makes it a lot easier. Just makes this stock removable. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Now this one, I remember the first time I ever done a mod was to one of these, where I removed the air restrictor and stretched the spring, which I know is your basic of basic mods, but that's all I knew at the time. Just feeling lost doing mods is pretty much a reason why I started doing this page. So I knew what it was like to be wandering. You look at all these other YouTubers and they're going bang, 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 this is done, this is done, this is done. I was like, okay, you're showing me that's done, but how do you do it? Not everyone knows all this stuff automatically. And that's what I found with a lot of channels. Okay, this has got a lot of moving parts in it, and you've got your, as always, you've got your Stock adapters, you've got 2 on this one, you've got to be careful, don't shoot out on you. Yeah, the screws on this one's actually gone rusty. This is a second-hand one from an op shop. The screws have gone rusty, so they've probably been left in someone's garage before they decided to sell it. Okay, and there are your internals. Definitely take a picture of this one. This one is a bit tricky, because unlike other ones, we have to do a bit more work to it. Okay, taking your picture. First off, you can take that lifts straight out. So that just clicks in, lifts out. Now what you want to do is, if you want to do the removable stock modification, get a knife or a Dremel and just take down those edges. Bring that down the flat and it will slide in, slide out, so easy. It won't drop out, but it will be able to pull out. That's if you want to do that, is if you got a small toy box that you want to fit them in, or carry them around in a bag, whatever your reason is, or if you want it just for the cool factor. This is, you've got to take off this cap that receives a spring. So this is tricky. My first time doing one of these, I messed it up so badly. Unbelievable. I couldn't get it to fire again. It took me ages to work it out. Okay, and like I said, this is a reverse plunger, so you see how large that plunger tube is, because it works backwards to the ones nowadays, and all the air gets pushed in here then back out. You can see straight through there, you can see the O-ring. I'm not sure if you see it or not, but I'll lift up the camera. The black line is the O-ring, so you can see where the air actually travels. Yeah, it's not the best of design, but it was their first of their designs, which got us to our previous design, so you can't be too judgmental. They got there in the end, and they're not even done yet, so who knows what's coming up next. I'm going to put this cap back in, which locks the spring in place. Be very gentle so I don't knock out everything else that's in here. Mainly all these long levers they're using this complicated way for mag releases and springs and pieces and stuff you don't want to touch. Unless you know what you're doing, you can rip it apart and put it back together. Nice and easy. Ooh. 2 internal screws out, 2 internal screws back in. Trigger catch, spring in. You always got to be careful with these, because if you don't do it right, it will come up, get caught in the shell, and it will buckle. And it will never work the same again. You'll have to replace it, or spend your time just trying to fix it. But even when you do fix it, it still doesn't work the same. Right, this is in place. I just didn't do the familiar crack. Hold on. Nope, didn't do the familiar crack. Okay. Seal this up. So I'm not doing the stock mod on it because this isn't mine. I borrowed it. So I'm putting the spring in it for someone else, and they just lent me their blaster so I could show it to you guys. I don't actually own one. Most of these I pick up are normally second hand anyway. Fix them up, clean them up, tidy them up, and put them back on the second hand buy and sell pages. And this is another one, like the Retaliator. It looks great with the barrel on, but if you're going to use it in a practical way to play, leave the barrel off. You can't get pump grips for this anyway. You can, I have seen through Explorer, I think it was, there's a pump grip they rig up here, but being Explorer, it is really expensive. And for the power and output you get on this thing, you're better off with a pump action Retaliator or Rampage or Alpha Trooper, because it doesn't give you a lot of power. Even with the 5 kilo spring, it's still very meh. Orange Modworks does do a complete internal kit, which is polycarb, and it will cost you a bit of money. really, you're getting better performance if you just stick a 5 kilo spring in a retaliator. Some people love these for the looks and want to use them, that's fine. As I always say, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your toys, I'm showing you what I do with mine. I do like it, it is very good to look at. I know people that use them as cosplay and people that have done them up really nicely and put them up as display. By rigging up a more realistic looking priming bar, like a bolt through it with a receiver on one side. But that's everyone does what they want to do. That's it all done. And my clip is here. Put it in, priming it. So it's nowhere near being good, but it's a lot better than what it was. And again, actually traveling pretty well this one. Okay, with the spring I got my spring from Hobby Mods, which is an Australian-based seller on eBay, and he has his own website as well, www.hobbymods.net.au, or Hobby Mods on eBay, formerly known as Oz Nerf Nerd. Orange Modworks will do the springs as well, so you can get on Orange Modworks, but I did find Hobby Mods to be cheaper because they were doing a $2 clearance on these springs. So this is what it looks like all back together. Very pretty. Pretty but impractical. But if you want to do this for some kind of cosplay as well, just dropping a 5 kilo spring in it would make it a lot more impressive when it's part of your outfit. As not only look good, but give it a little bit more function. Yeah, one last shot. Okay, I'm Ben, and thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to my videos and share them so other people can have a look, and any comments or feedback you give is greatly appreciated. Thank you.